All right, in this worksheet, we're actually starting to look at translations. So your quadratics or your parabolas do move depending on what numbers you put in. So your basic quadratic, we always say, is just x squared. I don't know where I just typed that x squared in, but it wasn't here. Let's do that again. So there's your basic graph. Y equals x squared. Okay, so there it is, nice, and it actually moves. So let's put another one in. So for question A, compared to the graph y equals x squared, what does y equals x squared plus 3 do? So we have x squared plus 3. Okay, so when you think about it, has it moved left, right, up, or down? It has moved up 3, and that's what this plus 3 actually means. So here you would write the graph of y equals x squared plus 3 is translated up, and you can just write 3 units. Okay, so try to get into the habit of actually saying how many it's moved up by. All right, let's have a look at the next one. So I'm going to delete that. The next one is x minus 3 all squared. Okay, so notice how the previous one had plus 3 on the outside and this one has it inside the brackets, or has minus 3 inside the brackets. So what has happened here? Okay, so it hasn't moved up or down, it's actually moved to the right. Okay, so how many has it moved? It's moved 3. So we say for B, it's translated 3 units to the right, or right 3 units, same thing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So this time we've got plus 1. So if the other one was minus 3 and it moved to the right, what do you think the plus 1 is going to do? That's right, it's moved to the left. Okay, and it's moved to the left by 1. All right, the last one. So you're probably thinking we've done up, we've done right, and then left. So the next one is x squared minus 6. So the only option left is to go down, and there it is. So it's moved down 6. They're the 4 that move. Okay, so move left, right, up, down. When we get to E, you can see we've got a negative x squared. But before we move on to the negative x squared, let's just see how the x squared graph and the negative x squared graph. Okay, so basically it's flipped, yeah? So it's flipped over, it's gone from a positive to a negative graph. And we call that a reflection. Okay, so that's something that we might get to quite soon. Okay, so translated means moved along, and reflected along the x-axis means it's flipped, basically. Okay, so let's we'll make that one a negative, and this time we wanted for E is minus x squared minus 2. So the same translations happen. So even though we've got a negative x squared here, that minus 2 still means it's moved down 2. Okay, so you can see your original negative x squared graph here, and there it is, shifted down 2. So you can go through and complete the rest of them. And then once you've done that, see if you can do question 2 without your calculator, and you can check your answers on CAS if you want to, or come back to these ones to see what has happened. But we have this minus 3 here. So how does that move it? Obviously it moves 3, but left, right, up, down. This one's 2, left, right, up, down, and so on and so forth. This one here, remember, it has been reflected on the x-axis, and there's another one here that's been reflected, and this one's also been reflected. But these have also been translated as well. So it's been reflected and translated. So maybe we'll do H just so I can show you what I mean. Okay, so we'll delete U, and we have to compare it to x squared. So we'll leave x squared there. And H is negative x plus 3 all squared. So think about it before I press enter. Remember, this means it's reflected, and this plus 3 means it's moved to the left. Okay, so can you see that? It's flipped and it's also moved to the left. We actually have another translation which makes it wider or narrower, but I think this sheet here we're only looking at up, down, left, right, and whether it's been reflected in the x-axis. Okay, so remember, if it's flipped, we say don't use the word flipped because that's not good to use when you move into methods. Say it's reflected in the x-axis. So if you want me to write, I'll see if I can write that here. Okay, just move that. So reflected in the, oh sorry, say along the x-axis. Okay, reflected along the x-axis if it's flipped, basically. All right, I'm going to pause it there. I think that's enough for this one here. But do use your calculator to help you. So if you're a little bit stuck, make sure you just check your answer on your calculator. But basically, you should get to the point, hopefully by the end of this topic, that you can see, well, how has my x squared graph changed?